Well, Mathematicats, here, let's look at one of the drawing programs from Howe-Two. It says Border here on the menu, but it's really BorderPatterns. And let's see. One of the things that is used in this sort of program is what's called a fundamental region. So down here it says draw the fundamental region. Now, see, I've had the default be that there's a repeated pattern along this border. But if I clear everything, that's gone, and I have this fundamental region, whatever I draw down here is going to be repeated in a pattern, a border pattern. And if I click this option, this box right here, I get a vertical representation of the same pattern, rotated 90 degrees. Right now the default is for a simple repeat of 6 across and however many fit down. And we can clear and draw, and you can see that a lot of times there might be a border print in a wallpaper. I guess wallpaper's getting out of vogue now, but you could have some sort of pattern that repeated itself over and over and over again, and that would be a simple repeat. Now, when I was in graduate school, one of the things we studied was topics in transformational geometry, and they encouraged us to teach students to recognize patterns of repeats because it's important in the fields of Christological studies, study of crystals, and the study of in three-dimensional building where there's repeats, and with the genome and the double helix, there's certain things repeat according to certain patterns, and they wanted us to get some of these patterns into the minds of high school students if we could. So that's one of the reasons I've made this border print, and we've got these options besides the simple repeat. I'm going to clear and then choose horizontal mirror. So now I'm going to draw, let's say draw a tulip, and I put a stem on it. Then you can see what we have here is the pattern repeats, but with a horizontal mirror. So right along this edge between these two things, there's a horizontal mirror on repeats, a mirror reflection. And now let's change to horizontal glide, clear, and let's draw that same tulip again, or something similar to it. And we'll put a stem on it, and we'll only put one petal there. Now we have what's called a horizontal glide. The tulips are not mirrored across the center line. There is some reflection going on. There is a mirror, but what's happened is it reflects across and then glides half the distance between the repeats. This is called now a line of glide reflection. If you study wallpaper, if it ever comes back in vogue, you'll see sometimes the wallpaper designers use lines of glide reflection. They're kind of interesting for the mind because they bring you forward. See how this goes back and forth. And on some plant development, there's the way things grow. You might see lines of glide reflection. Now we want to look at a vertical mirror. And it's going to be what probably you expect. I had a vertical mirror. I get a mirror, but the mirror is vertical instead of horizontal. And now we want to see an odd repeat. Let's see. I can do that. And you'll study in Algebra 2 odd functions and even functions, and you'll find that odd functions rotate 180 degrees around the origin. You can see that this tulip is rotated 180 degrees. So there's an odd repeat on this pattern. There's one other thing I wanted to say about the lines of glide reflection. I was trying to do this before and I wasn't successful, so we'll try again. I want to see what happens here if I put in the horizontal glide. When we walk, let's see if I can get this right. I'm trying to make a foot here. I'm not very successful at it. I think I'm making the foot backwards again. Must be dyslexic. If I make let's make a big toe right here. I'll put some white in here. See if I can't. Probably can't erase because it's going to get white instead of beigeish color. But if you can imagine these were footprints, you can see left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. When we walk, we're really making a horizontal glide between our two symmetric feet. And that's kind of a pattern that you can pick out on patterns. I'm sure your drawings are going to look nicer than mine. Hope you have fun just designing some border prints. I think it's pretty self-explanatory as to how it works. You pick the kind of border style you want and clear, draw in the fundamental region with whatever you want. If you wanted to make a flower, something. Now, when a flower has its own symmetry, if we draw perfectly enough, I've sort of made mine asymmetrical so that you can see. And we have a horizontal glide with that. But have fun making border patterns. Some people find it just relaxing in the middle of doing some harder math, just to relax and make some border patterns.